Yo, 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 what's up, y'all? Andre, Big CEO Reed. I'm here with the post fight breakdown. This is going to be a segment that I do. I'm going to try to do this as much as I can whenever there's big fights going on. Let y'all in on my mindset on, what I thought about the fights. The goal would be to do before fights too, so you'll know what I think, what I'm planning, what I'm thinking they're planning, what's my mindset going into whatever fights. And then let y'all know how I feel after. Today I'm just gonna do after. Let y'all know. Today we talking about the David Morrell fight, David Benavidez fight. Um, I thought it was gonna be what it was. For me to be honest. So first I'm gonna talk about pre-fight expectations. What I thought the fight was gonna be versus what it ended up being. Honestly, I thought it was gonna be exactly what it was. I know everybody tried to say, "Oh, David Morrell was this big and power dude." Yeah, he is big. Yeah, he do got power, but he lacked the experience in the professional world. I know he got this whole background pedigree in the amateur worlds. I know, but Benavidez has been through that already. He had Demetrius Andre. Not to say that you can compare him to Morrell or nothing like that, but he's already had that. He's already had footwork. You know, Caleb Plant. Morrell even trying to go at him was like, "Oh, you a RoboCop, you move." That ain't, so what? He don't have to have good feet like you. We're not trying to compare who got better what to what. It's about, do I know how to stop you from your good? So you got good feet all you want, and I don't gotta have good feet as you, but do I know how to use my feet and my boxing ability to stop you using your feet so that I can slow you down and do what I want to do? You know what I mean? So I kind of already figured that anyways. Like, it's all right, you got good feet, but you ain't never been on this magnitude of a fight. You know what I mean? It was so many people at that fight. You know, I expected him to wear down. Um, One thing that I did, I can say, I I expected it to happen, but I didn't know when, how. So it was something that hopped out to me. Well, was the I said, like, what was it, round 4? Morrell hit Benavidez with a nice, I want to say, like a quick hook. When he was coming in to the back of the ropes, and he hit Benavidez and kind of shook him a little bit. It's always the punch that you don't see coming. I kind of figured Morrell was gonna do that to Benavidez because Benavidez, when he get to going, he'll let his punches go, and he this monster that's like, he don't be caring about. I ain't gonna say he don't care about his defense. He do, but it's like once he get in offense mode, he locked. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of expect that when you a slick fighter, Cuban style, they know how to move in and out, counter. I kind of expect him to counter and get something in there that Benavidez wasn't gonna see happen. I kind of expected that anyways. So I guess, but when it happened, I just like, oh, that was quick. It was slick. I ain't really see it happen. It was crazy. But other than that, I felt like the fight went how I thought it was gonna go. I felt like the what Morrell was gonna do was gonna be like the Edgar Berlanga to Canelo. That's kind of how I figured, anyways. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you stood all 12 rounds. You know what I mean? You went crazy. You did your thing. I feel like Morrell had a lot of great parts in this. Man, he showed his heart. He showed, I feel like in the beginning of the fight, he showed that, he kept his poise, that even though I played this whole, I'm gonna come out and go so fast. Ooh, I feel like he came out, he let his jab go. He let, he boxed well. He always countered, he always came back too. He didn't like let Benavidez necessarily run over him. But Benavidez did Benavidez, man. I mean, you can't stop that man. He showed that, like, it didn't matter who he was going, who was in front of him, he was gonna slow you down regardless. And that's exactly what he did to Morrell. He slowed him down. He stopped his feet. He went to his body so much. It got to the point Morrell just, he couldn't pick his hands up. His hands was down. He was trying to change angles because he couldn't keep his hands up, and he was still getting hit. It didn't matter what was going on. Benavidez was just IQ. I feel like when boxing, people on the outside of the box would be thinking like, oh, for an example, Benavidez. They look at him and it's like, oh, he only this monster. He only go forward. He don't got boxing. And it's like, nah, he's at a high level at what he know how to do, but he understands boxing. I seen him cut the ring off so many times. I seen him change rhythms up so many times. I seen him go to the body or maneuver. I seen him do different. Morrell did this too. I seen them both adjust to the fight. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get your hats off to Morrell, because nobody else could was able to last like that in a firefight that long with him. You know what I mean? Like they went at it the whole fight. Morrell showed his heart the whole fight. Demetrius Andre tried, and he ended up short. He ended up didn't make it the whole fight. You got Caleb Plant that moved his feet a lot, but he never had the intentions to necessarily kill. So he took the whole fight, yeah, but he didn't get it wasn't as entertaining as it would have been as far as the Demetrius Andre. So Morrell gave you the better of both of them, because he gave you the Andre, but he lasted all the way 12. He gave you the footwork like Caleb, but he gave you more entertaining. So it's like you kind of we won. Like, as a fight fan, as a fighter myself and a fan, we won. Like, that was a great fight to me. It happened exactly how I expected it. As much as I cheer on Morrell, I just felt like he was too early in his career. And let Morrell have the same amount of professional fights as David Benavidez do, that would be a totally different fight. That's just my process. That's what I think. And I'm a Benavidez fan. I'm, you know what I mean. But I personally think after watching that and seeing, like, that was kind of like another game changer. It was the Mayweather Canelo. It was just inexperience versus the experience, and he showed it. That's all it really was. Got your ass whooped, and I don't even want to say whoop. It's hard for me to say that because you fought hard. You did your thing too. You know what I mean? You can't say you left that fight, man, so the other motherfucker knew who you was. You know what I mean? So it's like I can't say you got beat up. You know what I'm saying? But you got outclassed. And a great example of that is the Mayweather Canelo, because Mayweather was a little older. Mayweather was in his 30s. Canelo was younger. Canelo was more like 19. So that's the same thing, but you gotta think about it. Benavidez like 28, 29. So you're not necessarily Mayweather OG. You just a little older. Morrell ain't necessarily 18, 19. He ain't necessarily green, but he's still young. So it's the same thing, just a little closer though. We were just a little closer in age, but I think it happened the way it happened, man. I'm hats off to both of them. I feel like Benavidez did what he needed to do. You know what I'm saying? I think he does exactly what he says he's gonna do, which is go up, unify, and then make Canelo fight him. And I think Canelo was sitting back. I ain't gonna say scared. Nobody's scared of nobody, especially not in the pros. But Canelo definitely was sitting back and was like, "Yeah, I'm glad I didn't take that fight." That's just what I think. I think Canelo like, "Yeah, I'm glad I didn't. I let Morrell have that, so I'm able to watch and be Canelo and be smart and think about what I'm gonna do." Key moments in the fight. I feel like it was a cheap ass knockdown towards the end of the fight. It was like around 11, I want to say. If you watch it, I mean, technically, I ain't mad at you. Technically, if I hit you and your gloves touch the ground or anything, that's a knockdown. So I ain't mad at it. I take it. But I'm mad at Morrell because you had your chance to at least get some up the edge. You had the fucking knockdown. Rather you necessarily knocked him down or whatever. I don't care. You got it. It was your round. And then you did a cheap shot at the end too, at the end of that round. And it's like, I understand both of them. Like, it was the last 10 seconds. Benavidez just let off he just let some hands go. You know what I mean? Morrell tried to counter at the end. Benavidez, and that's the thing too, if you watch it, Benavidez actually hit Morrell first after the bell, but it was more like a typical, like, the bell ring as I hit you. The bell ring and I was finishing that punch. The ref don't necessarily get too mad about stuff like that. That's when the ref jump in, because they know you fight, y'all fighting. That bell ring, you kind of was finishing it. All right. To me, how I looked at it was Benavidez did that. Benavidez was talking shit, and Morrell whacked his ass. And it's like, damn, like, so I feel like, I understand people probably feel bad about that point being taken away. It's probably controversy, but I feel like the point we took it away was, I don't know. I feel like it was useless, so it didn't matter. For him to be honest, the fight was gonna still be what the fight was gonna be. If you want me to be real, that point didn't do nothing. But I think it should have been taken away, because if Benavidez wasn't Benavidez, this monster that can take a punch, that hook at the end after that bell could have really knocked you out. You feel me? Like, I ain't gonna cap. You would have been knocked out like that. You didn't see that punch coming. You didn't expect the punch to come because the bell rang a while ago, and your hands was down because you was talking. You was and I me being a profiler, being anybody who fought professional amateur, you already know that bell ring. It's like, you trying to suck as much air in and breathe and be relaxed before that bell ring again. And so you just took time out of that and hit me. You know what I mean? Like so, you know, that was some crazy moments. You know, I feel like yeah, that hook in the fourth round was crazy. Morrell was getting cracked. I ain't gonna lie. I'm sorry. Hey, Morrell was getting hit with some shit. And I feel like Morrell held it on though. He held it strong all the way to the end. What worked and what didn't work. For David Benavidez, I feel like what worked is what always worked for Benavidez. Like he came out. I feel like obviously his training camps is always hard on, very pressure, making sure he don't get tired. You know, everybody always call him fat boy and this and that, but it's like he ain't never, even when he is tired, he got that gas to start off fast, to start off working. I feel like one of the tactics that I noticed that he does, and people don't might not like it, or you might not notice it, or you may not see it this way, but in my head, I remember I heard somebody once say like, if you get in that ring and you punching and you letting your hands go, make that other person be worried about what you finna do. You know, make them over there thinking what you got next. Because if you doing that, they not thinking about what they gonna do. You know what I mean? So it's like I feel like that's just something that Benavidez is great at. I'm coming out and I'm going. It's not that just I'm gonna be throwing so many punches. I'm throwing good combinations. I'm throwing soft, hard, fast, quick, slow. I'm throwing feints. I'm throwing. He even throw stuff where he's like gunshot. You see it. Like I see him do that all the time. He be like gunshot. You see it come. Then he'd do gunshot. You see it come. Like man, but it's like all day your brain is stuck on what is he finna throw at me? What is he finna do? What is he? What is he? What is he? And that right there is draining. Then he go to the body. His body shots was crazy. I think in like the third or fourth round, the commentator said he had like 17 body shots to Morrell's 7. You know, so he was really breaking that body down. So yeah, like how Morrell was talking all this RoboCop. You not a good fast. You don't got no footwork. Ooh, I'm gonna dance all around you. Well, like I say, when you understand boxing, he said you know how to move your upper body. You know how to dodge. I'm gonna go to that body. That body don't move. That body gonna slow you down. So if I hit you in the body and you want to be like Cuban style, moving your head, that's cool. I don't gotta hit your head. I'm gonna go to the body. Body don't move. Boom. You want to start moving your feet because you got good feet. Well, I'm gonna go to the middle of the ring. I'm gonna cut it off and I'm gonna go to your body. Boom. Next round, them feet ain't gonna be moving that fast. You ain't gonna be moving, and that's what happened over time. Like he always do. You know, he pressures you down, and it's a smart technical pressure. And so I just feel like that works for David Benavidez. And something that I already thought about too is if you can't make Benavidez feel like he has to walk on his back foot, you gonna have a long night. Which you know, it was a long night for Morrell. You know what I'm saying? He kept his jab going. He was doing the best he could, but Benavidez just never stopped walking forward. You know what I mean? He may have stepped back a couple times, but what can you do with that, man? The judging and the outcome, I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't necessarily listened to the judges what the actual score was because I just knew they all lopsided Benavidez, which I felt like it was anyways. I felt like Morrell had a lot of great moments. I feel like as a whole course of the fight, Morrell did his thing, but Benavidez won. I didn't necessarily go round for round and judge each round just because when I'm big in like my fan mode, I'm not trying to do all that. I just want to watch it. And so overall though, since the beginning, I feel like Benavidez is just whooping. And I guess I didn't talk about what did work for Morrell. I feel like what was working for Morrell, what I seen was his game plan in the beginning. I seen he was still poised. Um, he was letting his jab go at first. He was letting his jab go, and he kept his hand in the beginning. Keep your goddamn hands up. When he was keeping his hands up, letting his hands go, and I want to say like the end of maybe round 1 or round 2, he kind of did like a 1-2 or let some hands go. He stepped back, counter came back again. That right there would have worked very well for Morrell. I felt like personally, if he kept his jab, kept his distance, not necessarily moving your feet so much. People always think having good footwork means just running around in circles around the ring. You ain't gotta do that. If you would manipulate your footwork, move out, feint them, come back in, come back out, yeah, working punches, come in and out with them. More you would have had a higher chance of getting your shots off without Benavidez hitting you as much, as opposed to I've realized I want to say half of the fight, you just kind of stood in front of him. That's what Benavidez want. He likes that. You made it so easy for him. But when you was moving at first, it worked. Every time you let your hands go, it worked. You know what I mean? Um, if I'm not mistaken, I watched the All the Smoke podcast with Benavidez, and he said he cut his eye a couple camps ago. So I understand he had to cut there, but you still open the cut. I know towards the end of the fight, his nose is bleeding. You can see David Benavidez, his whole face was getting red. His coaches are telling him to move his head. So he said it was a good fight for him, but I saw a lot of things that Morrell was starting to work. He was getting his punches, his combinations, jabs to the body, stabbing to the body, going back up top. You know, he'll let 4 punch combinations go. Being normal Morrell, he was punching in between Benavidez punches. I felt like if he would have kept doing that, punching in between them punches, I know Benavidez can he can go on a landslide of 6 7 punches at a time. But when he do his 2 punches or whenever he was pop shocking, Benavidez is doing a lot of jabs. If he would just counter those and work, I feel like Morrell had a much better fight. But I think he did great too, though. I don't, ain't too much I can say of bad that he have done. What's next? I mean, what's next? What's next with Benavidez to me is obviously what he been talking about, going up, unifying the belts at whatever weight that is. I can't even tell you what that is right now, but he said he want to go up and unify the belts, and then he want to like make himself mandatory for Canelo. I mean, I don't see too much more for him. I think he want to do the yeah, which is going up. My fault. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, he want to go up and fight whoever wins between the Bevo. My fault. I'm tired. That's the same weight class he's at now. He already said that he might not be able to get it. Ain't no telling how that's gonna work because they might have a three-peat. But I know he would love to get in the mix of that. And I love to see him in the mix of that. I think him fighting one of them, that would be crazy. Specifically, I think Better BF, just because everybody is scared of Better BF power. When I watched the Better BF Bevo fight, I felt like Bevo won, but I think it'll be a better matchup to see Better BF fight Benavidez, just because they both gonna go forward. Beaver was like is like in my eyes, Beaver was kind of a better version of Morrell, more experienced version of what Morrell, which was he knew how to come in, let his pounders go, and he knew how to move around and already have ring generalship, real footwork. I felt like I feel like he had beat Better BF the first fight, but not to talk too much about that. But to say I like to say that I think Better BF would be a great matchup for being Better Venez, David Benavidez. I think that'd be a dope matchup to watch and on TV because they're gonna go at it like this fight, you know. But Morrell is just so young, physically and age for real, and just in boxing professional experience, as opposed to Better BF, much older man, much more mature body, physicality, experience, and so on and so forth. That I don't. As much as I'm a fan of better of Benavidez, I don't know if he can walk down Better Bevo. Better be y'all get the bees right. I don't know if Better is David can walk him down like that. I don't know if he can do that. So that'll be a fight I want to see because I don't. And what I've seen now is David Benavidez is not gonna change his style up. That's how he's gonna fight. So put him in a place to see how he go against somebody like that. I think that'll be dope. As far as for Morrell, I think sky's the limit for Morrell still. I don't think this loss has done anything to that man at all. You know what I'm saying? He only had what I want to say, if I'm not mistaken. He only had he was like 11-0, if I'm not mistaken. 10-0, 11-0 before this fight, and you lost to David Benavidez. You pretty much just got Canelo Mayweather. You know what I mean? So you still can go on and be the great. And not a lot. I don't. What maybe one or two people has went all 12 rounds with David Benavidez. You know what I mean? So you went all 12. You showing your heart. You showing your grit. You showing that there's a lot that you can do. And you even feel that you still can beat him, which I think you should always feel that way. So I think sky's the limit for him. Um, if I was him, I know he said he want that get back bad. I don't think Benavidez is gonna necessarily give it to him because why? Unless you just keep going back on your run, get you some wins at them weight division, and kind of just stalk him. You know what I mean? He's because he's kind of at the end of his rope too, though. It ain't too much he can do. Like he said, he gonna try to go up mandatory. Unified belts. He might try to get the B-ball, better BF, but it ain't too many options for him. Canelo ain't necessarily gonna take him on. So unless Canelo wake up and be like, all right, I'm ready to take you on, he ain't got too much competition or paychecks that's gonna come his way. So that Morrell might, part two might be a good option in the long run if Morrell get back on the fast track, get back some more good fights, gain some more experience, get back on some more, big events. I think that number two would be a crazy fight for them though. I'm going to end this, man. Final thoughts. I thought the fights was great. Next time, if there's more fights y'all want to hear about, I'll talk more about more fights. I'll talk more about more details. The goal, honestly, is to have some more people with me. I really want to do this with more people who want to talk boxing. Uh, I know a lot of fighters who watch boxing. We usually commentate and talk about what we thought about the fight. So the goal is to get somebody in here whenever I do these post fights more, just so I can have more conversation. Y'all can get more views and get more out of me. I mean, I can only talk to myself so much. Um, but I thought the fight was good. I thought the Steph Foden fight was good. Cruz did his thing. I watched the Moulton, I can't get their name right. Moulton fight, Floyd Mayweather's fighter. I thought he did it. I thought he did a crazy good job. So I thought all the fights was good, man. Claressa Shields fighting tomorrow is gonna be a crazy fight. So hey, I'll be back. Garage Talks. This is post fight. We gonna keep the segment going. Peace.